All right, it's Tuesday. Well, it's Wednesday, but well past Wednesday. I think it's 1 a.m. right now on Thursday morning. But with that being said, it is time for Hump Day Hurdles, and of course, you're with Nareen's Life with MS. I am Nareen, and in this Hump Day Hurdle, I wanted to discuss something that maybe impacts you know MS patients a little more than other patients of other autoimmune diseases or other lifestyle diseases or so on. But I'm pretty sure that MS is not the only condition where patients actually experience this, and of course that goes to mystery bruises and cuts, right? I mean, there have been so many cuts, so many mystery bruises that I get almost on a daily basis. In fact, I think there are parts of my knees that are permanently, that are permanently a darker shade of brown than the rest of my body, and that's just so happens so that because I think it's just a permanent bruise, right? And the reason I came up with this topic was I think on Monday I go to the gym and my trainer just says, "Oh, you have a cat at home." And I think about it. I'm like, well, no cat right now, but at least if there is one, it's definitely not a visible cat. And he says, yeah, you've got a scratch on your forehead. And I just thought about it. I said, okay, I'll check it out once I get home, because you know I, for one, I'm not a person who looks into a mirror a lot, as you can probably tell by my hair. But so there was a scratch that was pretty much going down my forehead, and I noticed it. And I was also wondering myself that what could have caused it, because I don't remember scratching myself. I usually sleep without moving much, as a result of getting IVs every 6 months. I really don't move a lot when I sleep. So I always had that thing of where this cut actually, because then moving, scratching myself would probably be ruled out as a possible cause for this mystery scratch. But with that being said, I mean, yes, if you do have mystery bruises, I mean, do you actually remember what caused them? Because a lot of times I just suddenly come to realize that, oh yeah, I've got a mystery bruise that is on this area. And mystery bruises have pretty much appeared everywhere, from pretty much below my face all the way to my toes. And sometimes I can maybe pinpoint certain events that happen, but other times there are just daily things that happen on a periodic basis. I don't want to say daily. I know I started saying daily, but it's definitely not daily now, where you're, let's say, and I'll just paint a picture for you. So you're walking alongside a wall, and you're walking in a straight line, and for some reason your leg just pivots and you just walk into the wall. So this has happened an embarrassing number of times with me, and I just wanted to know if that has happened with you. But I would generally, when I would tend to notice mystery bruises on myself, I would usually blame those events. But recently, I mean, I know for one thing that I tend to be a little safer when I walk. I also am a little more careful in terms of falling to not actually fall on any joints or anywhere where I'd be hurting, where I would be making contact with my bone. But these mystery bruises keep forming. So if you do have this issue, do share your experiences, do share your responses and your inputs, and of course your insights, so that we can actually continue this conversation, because there are so many instances that I have of just getting a bruise, and sometimes they end up being in places where you ideally do not want a bruise. And because it's one of those places where if people notice said bruise, they'll start asking questions. So it definitely becomes one of those things where I sometimes I'm at a loss for words as to what might have caused a mystery bruise. So I think people also probably think I'm fibbing just because I don't know the answer to what caused that bruise, right? I mean, how many times can you actually say, oh yeah, I walked into a wall, I bumped my shoulder against a door frame, I dropped my phone on my face, I did maybe 100 other things, and those are the reasons that I've got this one mystery bruise. So yeah, do share your stories, and do share, maybe if you do have an embarrassing story, do share it, because sometimes it does become it does become very funny. I mean, I remember I did get a random mystery bruise, and it was, I think, on my shoulder blades, or at least on my collarbone. And there was no reason for it to actually exist on my collarbone, but chances are it probably happened because I walked into a door, maybe into a wall, maybe something hit me even, but yeah. And because it was on my collarbone, it was pretty clear when I would go for a swim that other people who'd be swimming would probably notice said mystery bruise. So yeah, if you do have similar experiences with mystery bruises, mystery scratches, mystery cuts, do share them. I mean, I recall there was even one time when I think it was this hand, where this hand was I wake up, and this was a long time back when I was much more into going out clubbing, partying and all of that, where I wake up in the morning, and I mean, majority of this hand was a different color, just because I had, I think, close to 12 scratches, if not more, just on this one hand, and I do not remember what caused that. I mean, there was also one very deep scratch that happened right on my little finger and the knuckle, like on the other side, and I if I look closely enough, I think I can still see it. It was this hand, yeah, it was my right hand. So I can actually see that there's like a very faint white line on my index finger going on to my actual hand, but it's just a mystery because I do not know what happened, and it's one of the funniest things. And I think this was definitely one thing I wanted to share, because I sometimes MS can be a condition where you're speechless, or you're rendered speechless, because you don't know what happened, you just forget, right? Memories also not your greatest friend from time to time. So yeah, do share your stories, do share your insights, and if you do have similar embarrassing experiences that you've had where a mystery bruise or a mystery cut or a mystery scratch got you into trouble, yeah, do share them, because it's going to be fun to share our experiences like that. So thanks so much. This has been Nareem's Life with MS. I am Nareen, and of course this is your Hump Day Hurdle for this Wednesday, and now over here at least it's Thursday. Thanks.